I think so far as the music goes, the riffs, the song structures, that was mostly me for the first EP, obviously because the stuff was pre-written.
Also, like touching on, Jason and his journey. From what you're explaining to me, it actually sounds like he's been doing this for a really short amount of time, which is extremely impressive.
That is wild, and it's certainly not the first time that I've heard that, and that he's heard that, and that we've heard that, because it is really like quite a feat.
The unfortunate reality is that you will inevitably burn yourself out. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sludge Underground. I have got another guest here for you all the way from Cape Town. Introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? It's Kenya. I play for a band called Doom Trigger. We are a metal band based in Stellenbosch, Cape Town.
You guys have got like quite a bit like of a groove element going on. Like, would you fall under like the metalcore banner, the groove metal like banner, or is it kind of just a mix of whatever you guys feel like doing?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a mix of whatever we feel like doing, but there are absolutely elements of groove. And yeah, I guess these days anything with like clean vocals qualifies as metalcore. So I guess it is also metalcore, but there are also elements of deathcore on the heavier side of things. A lot of the breakdowns are a little bit more deathcore inspired, and I guess there are also elements of thrash in there as well. Quite a lot of pacey songs, pacey riffs here and there. But yeah, man, I think it's just a mix of all our influences, just all mashed up into one. I think we have kind of established a bit of a signature sound now, which I guess is a mix of all those things. But yeah, definitely very groovy, kind of melodic as well, with some heavy spice to it.
Metalcore is such a weird genre, like in general, because it covers such a weird like mix of music. It's kind of like if you don't know what to define it as, it just goes under metalcore. Because two bands defined as metalcore can be completely fucking different. I could tell you I listen to metalcore and you could not like anything that I listen to, even though you are a metalcore fan.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a worn out genre in in this day and age, and I mean that in terms of like no one really knows what is should be defined as metalcore anymore.
I don't think the boundaries exist anymore, to be honest. Not that things should have boundaries necessarily, but speaking of boundaries, they would be qualified, I guess, as a metalcore band, maybe a little bit more deathcore than metalcore, but but in some people's opinions, would be metalcore. But I digress. I think the boundaries are just like not there anymore. Like you just mentioned, you would say, as an example, Kill Switch Engage is metalcore, and some people would say Sleep Token is also metalcore, and you would say definitely not, like many people do, just because they've got like heavy breakdown here and there. They're now a metalcore band, but they also have so many other elements. They've got like trip hop, they've got jazz, they've got pop, they've got everything, but they're defined as a metalcore band. So it's just wild. It's weird, man.
Yeah, weird enough, Killswitch is one of the first bands that came to mind for me as well. Like I always, whenever like I think of metalcore, that's always one of the first bands that comes to mind. But yeah, like in terms of like a Doom Trigger, what brought you guys together? What you explained to me is kind of like a interesting mix of guys in different fields doing different things. How did Doom Trigger sort of come together, and how long ago was that?
I think the starting point really was just an outlet, for me, to create music. So it wasn't really intended to be a band from the outset, like many people did during COVID. Use that time to just make music just to keep sane and use the time constructively, which is what I did. So and naturally, I gravitated to heavy music because that's my favorite, and started writing riffs. And lockdown was actually just going to be like a little solo project, maybe record and release it as instrumentals. And I think the funny thing is that's also why we eventually started using like a bit of a synth in the background, because a lot of these songs were written with two guitars, which I played when writing these songs. But when it actually became a band, we just didn't onboard another guitarist, and so we were just like, let's just get some of the melodic sections on a synth that's played, created and played by a good friend of mine. But anyway, that's kind of how the music started. That was kind of the inception of the very first Doom Trigger material. It wasn't until Jason, our vocalist, hooked up about 3 years after we initially met at his brother's bachelor's, and really like talked about metal, harsh vocals, etc. And he was telling me about his intention to go overseas and teach English, and the rest of the time just like practice harsh vocals, because that's something that he really wanted to do. And we spoke for hours, man, and yeah, I really connected on like a, I suppose a musical level. And yeah, fast forward 3 years later, just after lockdown ended, he came back to South Africa, and I had this material, and I just saw him on Instagram. I think he posted like an Instagram story on the way to Spa or something, or Woolies or something, just like doing some, I don't even remember what the band was, but doing some cover, some vocal cover, and he like absolutely annihilated it. And I just messaged him and I was like, "Shit, dude, well done, you did it!" Like, and then yeah, we got to chatting, and I said, "Look, funny enough, I've got this material that I just wrote during lockdown, and it's like, it's pretty cool stuff, and I think your voice would match. Like, let's get together. You maybe do a feature on one of the songs, and let's see what happens." And yeah, that's exactly what he did. He came over. We hit the studio. I doubled down on the guitars and the bass. We got a friend of mine to stand in on drums and track the drums. And yeah, Jay did the vocals, and then out came this song. And that song was called "Summon the Reaper," which is the opening track from our first EP. And yeah, once we heard that first mix playback, we were just like, "Shit, man, this could be a band. This could be something cool." This was in the middle of 2021, so 4 years ago, effectively. And so I just said, "Dude, do you want to be part of this project? Like, join me on this journey?" And he said, "Yeah, fuck, let's go." And yeah, from that moment, we set out to find a bassist and a drummer. And yeah, as these things go, people from your past, and past projects and stuff, eventually reached out to a bunch of people. And Etienne, who's now a drummer, and Robbie, our bassist, basically became the third and fourth members of the band. And yeah, that was towards the end of that year, 2021. And then we just rehearsed the shit out of those 4 or 5 songs and made our live debut just over 3 years ago. So middle of 2022, June 2022, I think it was our live debut. And we released that first EP just shortly before that. So from there, it's been a very fast and cool and exciting journey, and it's been quite a ride. We've worked quite hard, putting new music out frequently, really pushing hard to get onto good bills, play with cool people, play with cool bands, work with cool promoters, and yeah, just have fun with it, I guess, is the main thing. So it's been a pretty short journey, I guess, but it's been really rewarding and very very cool, and we've loved every bit of it.
No, that's sick. Like, and there's a lot to unpack with what you've said there. Firstly, like I think the decision to go with the synths instead of a second guitar has really like helped create a sound that makes you guys stand out from a lot of like the bands around you in the similar genre. I mean, there's that synth line for I think it's Gluttony, which it just fucking tickles such a specific part of my brain. Um, I made one of the promos for the Nulo gig, and I think I used Gluttony for that, and that fucking that just scratched an itch in my brain repeatedly. My ADHD brain fucking loved that. So good job. I think that was a fucking rad decision.
Nice. I think I
And
know exactly which part it is.
yeah.
I think I know exactly which part it is.
also like touching on, Jason and his journey. From what you're explaining to me, it actually sounds like he's been doing this for a really short amount of time, which is extremely impressive. Because if you take into account, like, I would have thought
Yeah.
he's been doing this for years. Like, I'm obviously a bit removed from the Cape Town scene. I've been involved in the Durban and the Joburg scenes, like, personally, and but I'm very kind of far removed from the actual, Cape Town scene and the players inside of it and whatnot. And if I didn't know that, I would have assumed Jason has been a figure within it for years, with his vocals, with his stage presence. I would have assumed this is a fucking straight veteran of the scene. So that's really impressive that he is actually, in the grand scheme of things, been doing it for a really short amount of time.
Yeah, man, that is wild, and it's certainly not the first time that I've heard that, and that he's heard that, and that we've heard that, because it is really like quite a feat. And again, like I think his interest in heavy music and harsh vocals has like always been there. So, like I said earlier, his older brother is a good friend of mine, and like we grew up with the same musical tastes, early 2000s metalcore and new metal and stuff like that. And that's the stuff that Jay, obviously, as a younger brother or as a young kid, like grew up on. And like he'll tell you as well, he was always fascinated by the vocals and the vocal ability of those dudes. And so it was just also amazing that when he first spoke to me about like his intention to learn and like, get good at harsh vocals and really like, give it a go, when he did come back from overseas and I saw that video, I was blown away, dude. I couldn't believe that he had learned so quickly, like and applying those techniques so well in such a short period of time. And like that in itself was incredibly impressive from an ability point of view. But then added onto that, like you just mentioned, like then came the stage presence as well. Obviously, that took a little bit time, bit of time to develop, a little bit of confidence building over time, etc. But he's also just a fucking rad guy, dude. He's just a super sweet, nice, cool dude. And I think that's usually what makes the best frontman, in my opinion. It's just like, just a nice, fucking cool, down to earth guy that's kind and like loves his craft. And like, he's just also just unique. Like, anyone who knows Jay will know that he's just a fucking unique, cool dude. And yeah, we're just so happy to have him in our stable.
I'm not mistaken, I met him once. I met you guys for the Battle for Varkin, which was 2023 was when you guys participated. And I also just remember him just being the most wholesome dude to have a chat with. So that was, yeah, that's great. And so you are like how it started out were like the primary writing force in the band, like the primary songwriter. You were creating the music. How much has that kind of changed since the like formation of what is now Doom Trigger, with everyone's kind of input with other members, and how has that affected how you produce music and write music?
Yeah, it has changed somewhat over the last few years. I think for I think for the first and second EPs, it was predominantly myself being the primary writer. So Jay does all the lyrics, like him and Robbie also. Robbie also helps him craft the lyrics and stuff. But Jay is the primary lyric writer, and Robbie will also help Jay sometimes like structure the vocals around enunciations and stuff like that. And but yeah, I think so far as the music goes, the riffs, the song structures, that was mostly me for the first EP, obviously because the stuff was pre-written. Second EP, again, like the majority of the riffs, majority of the song structures and stuff, also mostly me. But the thing is, that's where it started becoming a little bit more of a team effort. Like as each person grew comfortable in their roles as bassist, as drummer, as vocalist, whatever, they started bringing their kind of spice and their input to the songs. Um, and before we knew it, like what was kind of a foundation that I would maybe bring to the guys, whatever, quickly became just like a really nice, cohesive, you know, structured song or piece of material, because every single person has now kind of their input on top of what I laid down as a foundation. So it's definitely over the last 3 years become a little bit more collaborative, which has been super fun. And for me, also like a bit of a relief in a way, because if you're the primary songwriter, you feel a lot of pressure to keep producing and keep writing stuff. Like, and I can write riffs, man. Like I can write riffs all day, but I can't always put songs together. Like it's and especially the stature and quality of songs that we want to produce, because it takes time. You can't just bash out banger after banger after banger in short in a short period of time. Sometimes you get lucky and you do, but it's just always easier to do that when there's a lot of collaboration. And over the last year, like we've really seen that collaboration, like with this new EP set that we're doing now, the Circles trilogy. From that first installment of that EP trilogy, we could really see our sound develop in a kind of a collaborative, cohesive way. And the last song we actually released a couple of weeks ago, it's called Greed. That was the first song that we literally had a whiteboard up in the band room, and we said, okay, cool, like we going in open canvas. I think we had like one riff to play with, and we just like started. I think we started with a structure that we wanted, like this is the structure that we wanted, and now we had this one riff, and now we had to fill in the gaps, and here we want a thrashy bit, and here we want a not a breakdown but like a little bit of a down tempo part. And like, so we really collaborated on that, and that was also a lot of fun, because like rehearsals aren't like just like going through the set and playing the songs. It was actually like really, really fun to do that. So that was cool. And I think you can also hear it, like if you compare it to the other songs and you listen to the evolution of the songs, you can definitely hear the last like 3 to 4 songs that we've put out are, they feel more mature, they feel more cohesive, they feel a little bit like they've got a little bit more body to them, a little bit more depth, because there's like other influences now, coming in and informing the tunes in the writing process. So yeah, it's been cool, man. It's been fun.
And like what you're saying about like, being the stress of being a primary songwriter in a band, there is the unfortunate reality is that you will inevitably burn yourself out. You will hit a wall, you
Yeah,
will hit a block, you will hit something. It being a collaborative effort takes the massive stress off of your shoulders, because sometimes all you need is an idea presented to you in a perspective that you wouldn't have looked at for you to come up with something. Something as simple as a riff or a concept or something.
absolutely.
And even if someone comes with a whole song, man, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yes. Fuck, I wish.
I've 100% been in the same boat. Speaking of like how your sound has evolved, this morning I was just going through your YouTube channel and I listened to, in the order it was Lust, Gluttony, and then Greed is the order that you've released those kind of music videos in. And there's obviously such a clear evolution between those three songs and how far you've essentially come. So Lust, obviously, I assume being one of like the original things that you kind of wrote solely by yourself, and Jason came in and added on to it. Gluttony being from that, was it Circles 1? And then Greed being from Circles 2.
That's right.
So I think those three songs are like such a clear like path of evolution for you guys, as you were saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. The only thing, like Lust is also on Circles 1, but some of those riffs are from like 2 years ago. So, and it's interesting that you've actually caught on to that, because that was in that original stable. I just didn't use that for those initial songs. But yeah, it's a definite progression and a definite evolution, which I think we really like. It's also become a tad heavier as well. I think that's Jason's influence more. Like he's always pushing us to go like a little bit heavier and get a little bit more uncomfortable than we'd like to be and stuff. Because he also listens to crazy shit, and then he tries to do that shit vocally, and then he actually gets it right, and then he wants to apply it to our own stuff, which is amazing. Like, so it's cool. But I mean, going back to like in co-writing and bringing ideas and concepts. Like I tell the guys all the time, like if you've got something in your head, you can come mouth it to me. Like if you've got like ba 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 ba, it goes like this, like just come mouth it to me. I'll do my best to like play it. Like anything, like any little idea counts because that could be your next cool track, or that could be your next hook or whatever it is. And concept wise, like this entire Circles trilogy started out as a concept that Jay brought to us. He was like, he wants to fucking write music that talks about the nine circles of hell in Dante's Inferno, and we were like, "Fuck yeah, let's do that." So all of the songs in this trilogy and on these EPs is related to a circle of hell, and all of the lyrical content is related to that circle of hell, and even the riffs and the tempos and stuff are also like based on that specific circle of hell. So like anger is like fast paced, and it's got like the kind of lyrical content of the river of hate. And like if you go do your research, your literature, like you'll read about this shit and you'll be like, holy fuck, this is actually amazing, because it's all like weaved into the songs and the lyrics. So it's like even concepts can deliver like really cool songs and bodies of work. It's like cool ideas can come from anywhere.
That's fucking fantastic. Like, I'm wondering if that's not the tattoo artist, the artist in him that's coming out there in terms of like with this
Yeah.
being able to have like to visualize something and envision it and just apply that to music instead of like, a drawn art type of deal. But that's such a fucking cool concept. I did pick up on the Nine Circles of Hell like references, but I didn't realize it that deep through all of the songs. Like, that's fucking fantastic. And touching on the vocal things you said, I'm just imagining him coming to you guys at practice, and there's that breakdown for I think it's Gluttony, where he just does a bunch of like little vocal breaks. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
sitting there being like, "Fuck's sakes!" What like?
Yeah, it's so cool, man.
No, that's fantastic. And like you guys have been making like waves. I remember when we were obviously doing little like we were doing interviews at the Battle for Barking, I believe it was 2023 where you guys played. Was it wait, was it 23 or 24?
I think it was 24. It was 24, yeah.
23. Yeah,
Last
yeah.
year.
Some of the biggest excitement. One of there was a couple of bands that people were really excited for, and Doom Trigger was one of them. And then obviously having reached all that way to Johannesburg, like what do you guys kind of attribute that to? Is it like just through just word of mouth, through what you guys have been doing on social media? Um, because there was a lot of excitement for you guys specifically.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Thanks. I'm so like it's humbling to hear that. I think it's a number of things. Like our social media game isn't like that strong in terms of really creating content that reaches like really far. So like, nothing like the likes of Halva, who I think their social game is like super strong.
I'm Dolph from Halvar. I'm the drummer. And hey guys, I'm Dol from Halvar, and yeah, I'm the drummer for Halvar.
Um, and some of the Gauteng bands, like they do socials really well. But like we not, I don't know, man. Like we focused on our craft. So we really want to bring out cool music, and we want to support that with cool videos if we can, and we really want to support that with cool shows. I think that's still our number one thing, is like making cool music and then delivering cool shows, playing that music. And I think it's very likely that a lot of this word of mouth has come from our live shows, because it is super energetic, it's raw, it's fun, and it's tight, and people seem to resonate with the music, which is cool. I think we also just like a really relaxed bunch of guys. Like we're not like we easy to work with, I would like to imagine. We try to also help out other bands and younger bands, and we've got very cool merch. We pride ourselves on our merch and our brand as a band, because that's effectively what you are. And yeah, I think we've also just worked hard to build connections in the scene. So we've been lucky enough to get onto cool bills with cool bands. We've been fortunate enough to be booked for Ramfest 2023. We played Ramfest. The Vakken Battle was an epic opportunity to also reach new fans. We've also toured, like we toured to PE last year, I think it was. We did actually tour to Joburg. It was before Vakken, so we were there once before. So we had the opportunity to at least plant the seed in Gauteng. And yeah, I guess that just comes down to work ethic. You got to keep writing tunes, you got to keep putting it out, you got to promote it. You got to try to make, if you can, if you've got budget or you've got friends with cameras, like try to make videos, try to make content. But I think bottom line is like build connections in the scene, build connections with your fans, and really, yeah, when it comes to live shows, it's like Robbie, our bass player, always says, like there will always be someone in that crowd that is seeing you for the first time. But conversely, there will also be like a super fan in that crowd that's now seeing you for the 17th time. And you want to impress both of those people, because the person that's hearing you for the first time, you want to blow their minds, right? You want to make them remember you and go, "Oh fuck, that Doom Trigger band was sick." But the super fan that's now seen you for the 17th time, that knows like what level of performance to expect, you also want that person to go like, fuck, they were just so tight once again. You don't want that person to go like, oh, something was off, they weren't themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so yeah, we really want to focus very much on the quality of our live performances. So yeah, I think it's a combination of that, man.
I really like that perspective of, the person who's going to be seeing you for the first time and the person who's going to be seeing you for the 17th time. So that is a really like sort of fantastic way of looking at it. And I definitely feel like more bands, more artists in general would need to apply that. There's no such thing as a wasted gig. Yeah, sure, there's quiet gigs. Yeah, sure. But you got to give that energy. You've got to, you know, you got to give that performance. You got to give that. God, I actually didn't know where I was going to go with the last one, but yeah. So you got to give it your all every time. Um, so that's absolutely fantastic, and I 100% agree with you. Like with your merch, you guys have some of the sickest merch designs around. Like I remember seeing, I still see the occasional person on the side wearing like a Doom Trigger merch at shows.
Nice, that's awesome.
What is the future of Doom Trigger looking like from this point? You mean, so you've mentioned that Circles is going to be a trilogy. I assume Circles 3 is currently in progress. And what is the future of Doom Trigger looking like from there?
Yeah, short term, get Circles 2 out completely, and Circles 3 is already in the work. So really wanna get that out as soon as possible. We were having a laugh the other day and saying, "Fuck, we actually quite keen to start writing some new stuff that's not related to Circles," and like because it's cool, but like that's all that we like fixated on now, right? And it's not restrictive, but it's like anything else that we have conjured up, like ideas or whatever, that's not aligned to the concept, we have to like park for now. So um, definitely want to look beyond that. I would love to do a full length album next, which obviously is going to take an insane amount of time and effort, but I think it's absolutely worth it. In a world of singles, I think if you can put out an album, it's just another level of craftsmanship that you just don't get with putting single after. There's nothing wrong with putting out single after single. It's great, and I respect bands that do so frequently, and we also try to do so frequently. But I don't know, man. There's just something about writing an album and bringing out an album that it's something that's not being done all that much anymore these days. So that's something that will be really cool. We definitely want to tour again. Not this year, but definitely next year. We definitely want to hit Durban. We definitely want to come back to Gauteng. And yeah, definitely more videos. We definitely want to do more collaborations. We haven't really done that in our existence. And when I say features, I mean people featuring on our material. So Jay's done a couple of features on other bands' songs and stuff like that. I've done a couple of features, not even in the metal genre, just like so. But we'd like to get people to do one or two features with us as well. That'll be cool. And yeah, I think overseas is the longer term plan, but yeah, that's obviously like budget dependent. We're not getting any younger. We've all got responsibilities, jobs, all that stuff. But I think the main thing is just keep our momentum going. At least locally, just keep the momentum going, keep the craft going, keep putting out songs, keep supporting the scene. Yeah, keep supporting our mates. Yeah, just keep on going, I guess.
Yeah, that's it's a really like clear, concise like plan for the future. Motherfucker, that's a spider. Sorry, hold on. Oh my god, it's gone.
Oh, dude.
Sorry, I'm fucking terrified of spiders. I apologize. Um, s- on that note,
Was it a
just
big
to
one?
end, not too terrifying, but yeah, just end the episode right fucking there. Me screaming at a fucking spider.
Didn't something like this happen when you were on a call with some Australian dude? This was like a repeat from a scene I saw from a different episode.
Yeah, right. You know what's interesting is that's how I describe, right? Okay, like, you know what's interesting is that's how I describe, right? Okay.
Yeah, except the spider wasn't in the fucking room with me that time. There was a fucking huntsman spider in the background of Jim from Caligula's horse, and he said the most
That was
Australian
it. I
fucking
remember
thing.
that.
Yeah, he said the most Australian fucking thing afterwards. That was, oh, it's not that big. It was a fucking huntsman. It was about yay big. It was big enough to be picked up on his camera. It was big enough for me to notice it on the floor behind him. So, of course,
Exactly,
so
like a puppy.
like,
Yeah. Oh, how the tables have turned. Now you're the one with the spider pet.
dude, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me today. It's really been like I've been dying to have a chat with you guys to learn more about the band. What makes you guys take what you've been doing? And I'm really, really happy to have gotten like a little bit more insight. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are interested in what you guys have been doing as well, who have also been waiting for that a bit more insight in what you guys have been doing. So, man, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me.
Yeah, dude, thank you. And honestly, it was such a pleasure. Yeah, we've been meaning to obviously connect for quite a long time, and I'm glad that we did. And yeah, dude, I'm sure it's not the last time we'll be chatting. Hopefully, next time I can get the full crew up here and we can irritate you a little bit and have a laugh. And yeah, hopefully, have a little bit more to offer for the viewers, and maybe kind of tack that on to a new launch or something, or to an announcement or whatever. But yeah, it's been really cool to have a little bit of a Q&A. And thanks again for having me, bro.
Absolutely a pleasure, man. All the best. Thank you so much.